Maybe. I mean, it's kind of a big series of events, and you never really know what people are doing. And what I'm realizing writing the Tucker letter is that most people are just completely bamboozled by everything that happens because they just have zero ability to ever even indulge learning about anything. I mean, and people make these strange claims like, that are like multifaceted that probably have nothing to do with us. I mean, this type of claim is probably some geopolitical jockeying, that's going on behind the scenes that like we have no idea about, and it really doesn't matter. I mean, a lot of times I'll get these bizarre complaint emails about these like odd things people think are going to happen, and I'm just thinking like, what do you really care? I mean, silver's running, right? I mean, I've been trying to find all my silver. It's impossible. Like, it just takes up way too much space. And you think about it, and you're just like, you sit here and stare at a stack of silver, and you're thinking like, yeah, I mean, I don't know what they're going to do with the $35 trillion in debt. My prediction is it'll double. My prediction is it'll be 70 trillion, and the system will get bigger. The system's going to keep getting bigger, and that's probably a pretty good bet, and if that happens, I want myself to get bigger as well. I mean, not my waistline, but I mean, my asset pile should grow with that, because otherwise I'm going to go backwards. And so that's kind of my thinking, is like, why don't I just get on the boat that's right in front of me and go? I mean, if the Russian, kind of power structure and the US power structure have this like bizarre war behind the scenes, I mean, obviously that affects us, but I mean, like, there's a lot of moving parts there, and sometimes, you look at something like, I wrote a book about gold that I'm not sure really anybody read, because the gold's tripled since it was out, and people seem like that's not enough.
A lot of people read it.
I thought so, but I get these weird emails that I'm like, what, did you not read the book? I mean, it doesn't make any, I mean, the thing tripled, like what did you do? You read the book and then you did something else. Like, I don't understand what happened. They read the book and they bought a mining stock. It doesn't make any sense to me. My point is, yeah, you and I and people like watching this, and people kind of like that are, people that file a tax return, sort of like regular people. Sometimes you cannot overthink this stuff. I mean, like Bitcoin, is probably going to go higher. That's the thing that you're seeing, is that the price of gold right now, there's like $25 trillion of the gold in the world, and there's like $2.4 or $5 trillion worth of Bitcoin. And I don't think you need to get crazy with the math. Just be like, look, I mean, there's a lot of money in this. There's like too much money floating around all over the place in the world. And like, Bitcoin's probably going to go up. Gold's already gone up. Like it's some of this stuff is pretty easy.
There's a few points there you need to dissect. So, one, you just made me remember this awful headline I saw in Business Insider. Just side note, the headline was, and I tweeted like, how dumb is this headline? Is, why is gold so expensive now? And I don't know. There's like 100 reasons that this title just makes no sense. But getting back to the system getting bigger and bigger, and the debt ballooning, I guess the question is this in like your children's lifetime, EB? And two, there has to be a point, there has to be a point where it pops.
I don't know, because that's what people want to believe. I increasingly am convinced people have got to have a Santa Claus style explanation for everything. Like, they have to have this binary thing that's really simple. Like, if you put an advertisement that says the whole entire world's going to collapse on January 10th, click this button and give me $500 and I'll tell you how to profit from it. People do that. And it doesn't make any sense, because like, you wouldn't profit at all. I mean, you would be wiped out. So it's like, so everybody wants this, but it's not usually the way that it works. I mean, typically things evolve into the next system. I mean, it's like you had, German money collapse evolves into the next. Everything is kind of like evolving into the next thing. And what you want to do is you want to like flow along with it. I mean, it's like people get like, we got to defend this. I'm like, what do you mean we got to defend this? I mean, look, you came into the world around, 1970, let's say. And, it's pretty obvious what's happened since then. Every 8 years, the size of the federal debt has doubled. So if you had 8-year presidents all the way up, basically every 8-year president since 70, the debt's doubled. So when it was, 1 trillion, when Reagan saw 1 trillion, people were like, we're doomed. But then it went to 2 trillion, and then it went to 4, and then it went to 8, and now it's 36 or something. It's going to go to 70. I mean, and everybody's like, no, it can't happen. We're going to go back to like trading, shovels for bread or something. I mean, forget about it. Like maybe, but I think it's more likely that they have figured out that the trick is to make people feel distracted by making them feel rich. And that's what happens. That's the Powerball effect. What happens is that if I can make you feel like there's hope that you're going to have some big money event in the future somewhere or something. I listened to people in New York on the subway talking about this Powerball. It's so dumb. They all like, what if I win this thing or whatever? Okay, great. I mean, you'll be dead because everybody that wins the lottery ends up like incarcerated or like with a bunch of face tattoos or like having some huge problem, right? You ever read these stories? It's crazy.
Yes.
So you do not want to win the Powerball. It's like the worst thing that could ever happen to you. Meanwhile, this person on the subway could have just bought like $20 worth of a gold ETF for 20 years, right? Because, and had like done pretty well, right? But that's not good enough. That's not good enough. I need a collapse prediction of the entire world. There's going to be an EMP attack, and that's what people want to know about. And it's like, I don't know. I don't really think this way because I think there's probably going to be people profiting and surviving, for the next 40 years doing something. And I want to be one of them. That's like my mindset,
Okay. You mentioned silver before. I'm excited to talk about it because obviously we know gold gets all the attention, but now one major bank, TD Securities, says silver's momentum could ultimately push prices to record highs above $50 an ounce. This was in a research note from their senior commodity strategy. He says he warned investors actually that silver appears to be entering the end game of the current cycle as demand, now driven by renewed investor interest, eats away at the last dregs of above ground stockpiles. So he's warning about, wow, okay.
Probably. I mean, but here's the thing. I know this is going to sound weird, but I actually don't like silver. I mean, I spent a lot of time this weekend. I've been hunting around for the silver, right? I haven't even found all of it yet. You can't even store this stuff. It's too much. Like you forget where you put it. I've sold houses and I'm convinced there's like, 1,000-ounce bar left like in the basement and stuff. I mean, it's like you can't even store all this stuff. Now, what I don't understand is that the price really is almost back to where it was, in like the summer of 2011, pretty much, right? So like, 14 years ago right now, like this month or whatever, you were at a time where we thought surely it's going to go over 50. I think everybody sort of knows that when it breaks over 50, it's going to lurch higher, and it's going to come back, and test 50 and then probably go to 100. But the thing is that you're like, who really cares? I mean, 41 to 100, like what is really the big deal? I mean, you have like, we were talking about flying taxi stocks in the newsletter. Just for fun, by the way. It's not like, something we're really working on. But, these things go like 10x or whatever. And you're like, but you get these silver people who are like totally bananas over silver. And it's only going to, like, what are you going to get a double off that? And then you can't even, I mean, I'll have like 300 or 400 pounds of silver. It's like, you can't even put this stuff anywhere, But anyway, it's worth having some, right? Because I've been in that market for a long time. And I'm telling you that basically, commodity finance is what kept that market down. And so that's breaking down right now. Like that's what's breaking down is the ability to move prices around.
And we're seeing a good run in a lot of the silver miners, Evie.
There's not many. Yeah. I mean, it's like you can own them all. You can have like, on your fingers, you can have all of them. It's like there's not that many and they're tiny and they're run by the same people. And so I think you play this, you play it because it's here. But like, you don't get carried away. I mean, I was telling my kids that about like when I got interested in silver and gold, and what I did so people can understand this, because I think people, they just think that like I'm rich or something from like birth or whatever. But I mean, I was like buying a little bit of, I'm looking at the dates of all this stuff that I was buying. I just would go and buy like one gold coin for, $650 or something in a month or whatever. This is like 20 plus years ago. I mean, there wasn't any like, I'm going to get rich or something like that. I was just like, I sort of have been struggling. I don't want to struggle again. Right. So like, I think people have to like really analyze their thinking. I mean, they say they're going to buy like 10 ounces of silver and they're going to like retire or something. I mean, it's like
But
probably not. Probably not.
I was gonna say, what do you mean? I thought you were a trust fund baby this whole time.
Yeah, I wish. I mean, I always like I was
I'm
telling
kidding.
I was telling a friend of mine the other day that I had this fraternity brother that married a daughter of a billionaire. I was always jealous, but this guy ended up being like a total alcoholic slug, and part of it was because like it's really complicated to be married to the daughter of a billionaire. And you never really fully appreciate that until you're older. So like, yeah, I mean, I wish I was like a trust fund baby or something, but I guess like not really, because I've had a really fun life so far, and like now I'm in midlife, which is even more fun because you're like you really think about stuff. But you should, having a fun life is much better than like winning the Powerball.
Okay, let's wrap with gold here. I know you like gold. China's central bank bought 2 tons of gold in August. Obviously, demand is slowing here. I guess my question is, we know a lot of the gold rally was driven and is driven by central bank buying. What happens if China just stops buying gold? What happens to the rally in gold? Are you still bullish?
I think, unfortunately, we've sort of like made this run temporarily. This is probably a pretty good run. Like, I mean, I think there's a little bit of like a readjustment of some things going on. So now you get up here like, 3,600 and you're like, okay, so you could have a 10% move is $4,000. It sounds like a big number, but when you start thinking about it, you're like, we've had a lot of move now, and the move normally is in advance of the thing, right? Remember like in the past that, like in 2008, gold hit 1,000 in March, but then it came down and then they had the crisis, right? So it's like it moved before the crisis. I mean, it tends to move in advance of things changing. And so probably what's going to happen is a bunch of change in the Fed, a bunch of change in policy, a bunch of change in kind of how things flow. And then we'll look back and we'll say, oh, that's why gold was in advance moving up to, $3,600. And if you don't have any, right? Like what's the thing to do if you don't have any? I mean, when's the best time to plant an oak tree? Like either today or, yesterday. I mean, it's not like wait for it, right? So like, if you don't have any, you got to have like a percentage. That's the way to look at it, right? Like if you have like a small percentage gold, that takes all the guessing out of the price. But yeah, I mean, I have a place in New York too, so I pay, so I mean, I'm an avid taxpayer. The thing is that, I like when you get the bill for the property tax. It's called a trim notice. Most people know this. And you look at where the money goes, and it's like, it's so funny because you don't use any of that stuff. It's like you try to go to your local library and it's like filled with homeless people. It's like, it's so, to me, like nobody ever asks questions in a bull market, right? So now we're in a stalled market in Florida. So if you know what's happened, like everything sort of got hammered, the prices are all stuck or down, the flood maps all got changed on the west coast of Florida. And so nobody will give you any insurance. Not that I want any insurance, but basically I'm saying most people are stuck. And now they're saying, oh, wait a minute, I'm paying all this money in property taxes. I don't like it. So it's funny to me. I think it's like actually something that makes me laugh that nobody cares in a bull market. And then all of a sudden, if the party stops, everybody's like pointing fingers and wants to know why this and why that. But I tell you what, it's not the worst idea to question these things. Like now you say, wait a minute. I mean, where is all that money going? And what you figure out is that most of the time it's going to like 3,000 useless employees that, sit in the county building and do absolutely nothing. And I think we've just overlooked that for a long time. And so maybe it is time to look at that.
A lot of big changes happening in Florida.
By the way, the Tucker Letter is a lean organization. So we have a little part-time help here and there. People text stuff and everything. But I mean, we don't have any useless slugs sitting around. And that's why, we have such low prices. I mean, it's funny how you decide how you spend your money, right? Whereas like when you just mail the money to the, mortgage company who then mails the money to the county, it's like it just disappears.